After returning from their US tour in promotion of their debut album, 39 Smooth, things got shaken up. They already had some new song ideas to take into the studio, but John Kiffmeyer, who was drumming for the band, decided to quit and attend college. So after searching a while, Tre Cool landed the spot as the replacement drummer in the band. A little less than a year from Tre joining, the band returned to Art of Ear's studio in San Francisco, California, to record their next album. The album was co-produced by Andy Ernst, who they had worked with on their first album. During this time, they recorded 6 tracks, then went back on tour, only to return again in September to finish the album. On December 17th, 1991, their second album was released, titled Kerplunk. Now, the meaning behind the name isn't fully confirmed, but the two major theories are, one, that it was named after the 1967 skill game with the same name, and the other one, which seems more likely, is that it's meant to replicate the sound of when someone defecates from an elevated position, which is kind of fitting knowing that their next album would be called Dookie. The album's artwork was done by Chris Applegren and Pat Hines, who were employed by Lookout Records at this time. And Lookout Records owner Larry Livermore also had a finger in the artwork, because the insert, or the CD booklet, contained a short story based around a fictional character named Laurie L., created by Larry Livermore. And the story was about a teenage girl who kills her parents in order to meet Green Day, or something like that. Maybe this was Larry Livermore trying to feed into the fact that after touring, Green Day had gained a lot of new fans, most of them being teenage girls. But I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that Billy Joe and the band didn't really like the inclusion of the story on their album. And Larry Livermore said that he doesn't know if the girl on the cover and Laurie L. are the same person, but that's just something I thought would be interesting to include. Upon its release on December 17th, 1991, Kerplunk sold 10,000 copies, becoming one of the most successful releases from Lookout Records, and as of January 2017, it sold over 4 million copies worldwide. Some people credit Nirvana as being the reason Green Day got so big, saying that after Kurt Cobain tragically passed, the music industry was looking for the next big thing, and maybe that was true, but it doesn't take away the fact that Green Day are undeniably talented. The album was 12 tracks long and ran a little under 34 minutes, and as I touched upon in the video I made about Green Day's evolution, Kerplunk was a pretty big shift from 39 Smooth, especially from a songwriter's perspective. To me, this feels like the first Green Day album. Don't get me wrong, 39 Smooth is great for what it was, but Kerplunk was the first time they had pinned down their sound. Kerplunk was a musically diverse record, with songs like Dominated Love Slave and No One Knows, both being a sound that the band wouldn't explore on a record again. The album starts off strong with 2,000 Light Years Away, this being the first of many songs to be written about his future wife, Adrienne Nesser. In an interview, Billy Joe had said he wrote this song on the way home from first meeting her in Minnesota. Eventually, he sent her out a tape with the demo, and apparently she liked it. Then 3 years later, they were married. But that aside, the song is pretty straightforward and catchy, with lots of bass fills from Mike Dirnt throughout the song. Honestly, one of the things I love most about his playing. Interestingly enough, this is the only song other than Dominated Love Slave to not be written exclusively by Billy Joe. The next track was one for the Razorbacks, and there isn't much known about this song lyrically, but I think I heard somewhere that this song was written for a friend of Billy's who went through a breakup, and it said that Billy actually said her name in the song, but later changed it to Juliet. On the surface level, the song is about trying to console someone who's going through tough times. Most people know this song from its re-recorded version on Dookie, but Welcome to Paradise first appeared on Kerplunk. It was inspired after Billy moved into a warehouse in West Oakland, this being the first place he lived in after leaving home. The song glamorizes living on your own in an unfamiliar place, while acknowledging the dangers of said place and referring to it as, quote, paradise. Honestly, I don't think people really care much about the original version, but it's definitely interesting to compare the original to the version that made it to Dookie, because there's a pretty big difference. The next song, Christie Rd, has to be one of my favorite songs on the album. The place in question, Christie Rd, is located outside of Rodeo, where Billy grew up, and it served as a place for him to get away to, a place of solace, if you will. But apparently the reason the song was written was Erica Polino. Aside from being Billie Joe's first serious girlfriend, she also documented around the Gilman scene, and the lyrics were inspired after Erica's mother grounded her, but she snuck out and met Billie Joe at the tracks. The fifth track, Private Ale, on the surface seems very average, and maybe in the context of the album it is, but personally I think the song is underrated and extremely overlooked. Lyrically, the song is basically about stalking someone, which I'm just now realizing because for the most part I didn't pay too much attention to the lyrics. There's also dialogue at around the 1.5 minute mark, but as much as I'd like to tell you I know what Mike's saying, I don't. And that would be really cool to find out what he said. But what's funny is that Mike Dirnt was asked about this, and he said he didn't even remember what he said. So yeah, the mystery is probably never going to be solved. Also, someone, I'm pretty sure Billie Joe, is counting down at the last few seconds of the song. Someone recently asked me if I'd make a video talking about Tre Cool's songs, but dude, you know that video's not going to go over well. Dominated Love Slave is just one small peek into Tre's crazy thoughts, and also his first vocal appearance on a Green Day album. The song is self-explanatory in the truest sense, but I will say the overly country vibe is humorous, something that Tre does exceptionally well. Fun fact, One of My Lies has the same chord progression as Basket Case, with only a few differences in the chorus. Some people say the song is about questioning morality, and others say it's about facing vulnerability. But Billie hasn't said exactly what it's about, leaving it up for interpretation, which, let's be honest, makes the song more interesting for the most part. Hands down, this is my favorite song on the album. Everything about this song is fire. The bass is so present throughout the song, and the vocals convey the sense of anxiety one gets before confessing their feelings to someone they love. And it's very obvious by the title that this song was also written about Adrian, who at this point was still living in Minneapolis. Android is a song about contemplating how your life is going to look in the future, a common theme in teens and young adults' thoughts, and one that can eat away at you if you let it. Also, a while back, Billie Joe posted this picture on his Instagram, and who knows, maybe it was a reference to the lyrics in Android. No One Knows is my second favorite track on the album. The song is so chill and melancholy, but so well done. The instrumentation, the harmonies, and Billie's lower range vocals all make this track stand out in a positive way. The only other Green Day song I can think of that kinda sounds similar is Rest from their debut album. But from what I've seen, most people like No One Knows a lot better. In the intro, it has one of my favorite Mike Dirnt bass lines. The lyrics cover fear of the future and regretting things in the past. Who Wrote Holden Caulfield is best understood after reading the 1951 book Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I've read it, but to be honest, I really didn't get the moral of the story, but the book's protagonist, Holden Caulfield, is depicted in the book exactly like the protagonist in the song. The song is about being unhappy with your circumstances and surroundings, but being too lazy and unmotivated to change them. Sadly relatable to a lot of people. Billie Joe was told by his teacher to read this book in high school, but he didn't, only reading the book much later, which then inspired him to write the song. And Billie has also said that this is one of his favorite Green Day songs. So. The album ends with The Words I Might Have Ate, an almost folky acoustic song about wanting to know what you did to either make a friend or a partner stop talking to you. It's honestly an underrated song and was one of the first songs that Green Day went to the studio to record for the album. So after the album's release, Green Day went back out on tour, and this time they were attracting larger crowds. With the money they'd made from Kerplunk, the band bought their infamous bookmobile and new gear for tour. Billie Joe also bought a 4-track, with which he would later use to record some of the earliest demos of songs like Basket Case, When I Come Around, and Brain Stew. Lookout Records owner Larry Livermore said that he was on a plane when he first heard Kerplunk, and he said he knew that Green Day had outgrown Lookout. Then out came the Wolves. For the next 2 years after the release of Kerplunk, Green Day was courted by record labels, and the band admitted that a lot of the times they had no intentions of signing to any of them. They just wanted to get a free meal at the meetings. That's fair. Kerplunk is now a crowd favorite, and in my opinion, rightfully so. It's a very well written and put together punk album, and I don't care if I get hate for calling it punk, because that's what it is. It's set up so much for Green Day's sound and evolution. Leave your favorite song from Kerplunk in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Support my channel by subscribing, leaving a like, and hitting that notification bell so you get notified when I post a face reveal at 2 in the morning, then quickly take it down because I don't like the idea of my face floating around on the internet. And I will see you or not see you in the next one. Adios.